Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is R.S. Raghu with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for more investment in research and development. Former West Bengal Minister Shubhendu Adhikari and 9 MLAs joined the BJP. In Jammu and Kashmir, around 51% voter turnout recorded in 8th and final phase of District Development Council elections. COVID-19 national recovery rate improves to 95.46%. And in cricket, Australia defeat India by 8 wickets in the first day and night test at Adelaide. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called for more investment in research and development. Delivering the keynote address virtually at Asocham Foundation Week 2020 today, the Prime Minister asked the Indian industry to increase their investments in research and development, especially in sectors like agriculture, defence, space, energy, construction, pharma and transport. Mr. Modi also urged all the companies to earmark a certain amount for research and development in every sector. He said the world is moving rapidly towards the 4th industrial revolution. He said challenges will come in the form of new technology and many solutions will also come.
दुनिया चौथी औद्योगिक क्रांति की तरफ तेजी से आगे बढ़ रही है। नई टेक्नोलॉजी के रूप में चैलेंजेस भी आएंगे और अनेक नए सरल सॉल्यूशंस भी आएंगे और इसलिए आज वो समय है जब हमें प्लान भी करना है और एक्ट भी करना है। हमें हर साल के हर लक्ष्य को नेशन बिल्डिंग के एक लार्जर गोल के साथ जोड़ना है।
The Prime Minister said this is the time to show capability, commitment and courage of Indian industry to the world. He called upon industries and businesses to put all their energies in the coming years to establish a self-reliant India. He said in 27 years the country will be celebrating its centenary of independence, and what the country is going to deliver in the coming 27 years will not only determine India's global role but will also test both the dreams and dedication of Indians.
आने वाले 27 साल भारत के ग्लोबल रोल को ही तय करने वाले इतना नहीं है, बल्कि ये हम भारतीयों के ड्रीम्स और डेडिकेशन दोनों का टेस्ट करने वाले हैं। ये समय भारतीय इंडस्ट्री के रूप में आपकी कैपेबिलिटी, कमिटमेंट और करेज को दुनिया भर को हमें एक बार विश्वास के साथ दिखा देना है। और हमारा चैलेंज सिर्फ आत्मनिर्भरता ही नहीं है, बल्कि हम इस लक्ष्य को कितनी जल्दी हासिल करते हैं, ये भी उतना ही महत्वपूर्ण है। साथियों, भारत की सफलता को लेकर आज दुनिया में जितनी पॉजिटिविटी है, शायद उतनी पहले कभी नहीं रही।
The Prime Minister said from corporate governance to profit sharing, the best policies of the world must be adopted as early as possible and profit-centric approach should be made purpose-oriented and more integrated with society. Mr. Modi said the country stands beside enterprises and wealth creators that will give India's youth a lot of opportunities. He said India's youth is making its name in innovation and the startup sector.
आज भारत के युवा इनोवेशन के स्टार्टअप दुनिया में अपना नाम बना रहे हैं। सरकार की एक एफिशिएंट और फ्रेंडली इकोसिस्टम बनाने के लिए निरंतर कोशिश जारी है। अब एसोचेम जैसे एसोसिएशन को आपके हर मेंबर को भी ये सुनिश्चित करना है कि इसका लाभ लास्ट माइल तक पहुंचे। इसके लिए इंडस्ट्री के भीतर भी आपको रिफॉर्म्स को एनकरेज करना होगा।
The Prime Minister said the government is constantly bringing reforms to promote manufacturing in India and more than 10 sectors have been brought under production-linked incentive scheme. He said positive results have been witnessed in a very short period.
Mr. Modi said the reforms in the country have influenced in changing the sentiment of the industry from why India to why not India in investing.
अब जो रिफॉर्म्स देश में हुए हैं, उनका जो प्रभाव दिखा है, उसके बाद कहा जा रहा है व्हाई नॉट इंडिया। अब जैसे पहले कहा जाता था कि जब टैक्स रेट इतने ऊंचे हैं तो व्हाई इंडिया, आज यही लोग कहते हैं कि जहां सबसे अधिक कॉम्पिटिटिव टैक्स रेट्स हैं तो व्हाई नॉट इंडिया। पहले रेगुलेशंस और रूल्स का जाल था तो स्वाभाविक रूप से चिंता के साथ निवेशक पूछते थे व्हाई इंडिया। आज वही कह रहे हैं कि लेबर लॉ में ईज ऑफ कंप्लायंस है तो व्हाई नॉट इंडिया।
The Prime Minister said even during the pandemic, when the whole world is troubled for investment, record FDI and FPI have come to India as the world trusts the Indian economy now. He gave a call for the industry to increase the domestic investment drastically in line with the increased confidence of the world. Mr. Modi stressed on the need to have an effective mechanism for how India will meet any sudden demand in the global supply chain. The Prime Minister said India is also capable of helping the world while meeting its needs.
भारत अपनी जरूरतों को पूरा करते हुए दुनिया की मदद करने में भी सक्षम है। फार्मर से लेकर के फार्मा तक भारत ने ये कर दिखाया है। कोरोना काल में भी तमाम मुश्किलों के बावजूद भारत ने फार्मेसी ऑफ द वर्ल्ड की जिम्मेदारी निभाते हुए दुनिया भर में जरूरी दवाइयां पहुंचाई है। अब वैक्सीन के मामले में भी भारत अपनी जरूरतें तो पूरी करेगा ही, दुनिया के अनेक देशों की उम्मीदों पर भी खरा उतरेगा।
The Prime Minister said that the government is engaged in providing broadband connectivity to every village in the country so that the reach of the village farmer is also up to digitally global markets. On the occasion, Prime Minister presented the Asocham Enterprise of the Century Award to industrialist Ratan Tata, who received the award on behalf of the Tata Group. The Prime Minister said for the past 100 years, Asocham and Tata Group have been involved in improving the economy of the country and the lives of crores of Indians. Asocham was established in 1920 by promoter chambers representing all regions of India, having in its fold over 400 chambers and trade associations and serving over 4.5 lakh members across India. Asocham has emerged as the fountainhead of knowledge for Indian industry. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said New India is capable of giving a fitting reply to anyone who attempts aggression against the country. Stating that the war patterns and strategies are changing, the minister asked the newly commissioned flying officers of the Air Force to be prepared for newer and emerging challenges like cyberspace war. Addressing them after presenting them wings on completion of their training at the Air Force Academy, Dundigal, near Hyderabad this morning, he asked them to equip and update themselves with the emerging technologies. Referring to the recent standoff between India and China in the northern sector, he said, India has always been a peace-loving country. But if someone attempts to disturb the country, we are always ready to give them a fitting reply.
नॉर्दर्न सेक्टर में हाल ही में हुए इंडो चाइना स्टैंड ऑफ से भी आप अच्छी तरह परिचित हैं। कोविड जैसे संकट के समय में चीन का यह रवैया उस देश की नीयत को दर्शाता है। यह एक नया भारत है जो किसी भी तरह के ट्रांसग्रेशन, एग्रेशन या सीमाओं पर किसी तरह के यूनिलैटरल एक्शन का माकूल और मुकम्मल जवाब देने की कुव्वत रखता है। हम किसी भी विवाद का समाधान शांतिपूर्ण और बातचीत के जरिए ही निकालने में विश्वास रखते हैं। दोनों देशों के बीच मिलिट्री और डिप्लोमेटिक चैनल्स के जरिए बातचीत हो रही है। मैं आज के इस अवसर पर फिर से कहना चाहूंगा कि हम संघर्ष नहीं बल्कि हम शांति चाहते हैं, मगर देश के स्वाभिमान पर किसी तरह की चोट हम बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे। हम किसी भी स्थिति का मुकाबला करने के लिए पूरी तरह से तैयार हैं।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold a virtual summit with his Vietnamese counterpart Nguyen Xuan Phuc on Monday. During the summit, the two leaders will exchange views on the wide-ranging bilateral, regional and global issues and provide guidance for the future development of India-Vietnam Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. In 2020, both countries continued high-level exchanges. Vice President of Vietnam, Ms. Dong Thi Ngoc Thinh, came to India in February this year on an official visit. Both Prime Ministers had a telephone conversation on 13th April this year to discuss the situation arising out of the COVID-19 pandemic. The 17th edition of the Joint Commission meeting, virtually co-chaired by the two foreign ministers, was held on 25th of August 2020. Defence Minister held an online meeting with his counterpart on the 27th of last month.
Trinamool Congress rebel leader Shubhendu Adhikari joined the BJP in the presence of Union Home Minister Amit Shah at a rally in Midnapur. Apart from Shubhendu Adhikari, 9 MLAs from TMC, CPM, CPI and Congress joined the BJP in today's meeting. TMC's Burdwan East Lok Sabha MP Sunil Mondal, former Minister Shama Prasad Mukherjee, former Lok Sabha member from North Bengal's Alipurduar, Dashrath Tirke, and 15 civic body councillors of the TMC and other parties also joined the BJP, along with at least 20 district-level leaders today. Adhikari left Trinamool Congress, alleging that there is extremely deep rot within the party. Adhikari, after joining the BJP, said that if the same government which rules at the centre does not rule West Bengal, then it will hurt the state's chances of development and economic prosperity. Senior BJP leader and Union Home Minister Amit Shah has claimed that the BJP will get more than 200 seats in the forthcoming assembly elections in West Bengal. Addressing a public meeting in West Midnapur today, he said the people of the state want change. He expressed hope that entry of former Minister Shubhendu Adhikari in the BJP will further strengthen the party's base in West Bengal. Mr. Shah said that Shubhendu Adhikari left the TMC party to join the BJP to fight corruption in the ruling party TMC. He said Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is not allowing the people of the state to get the benefits of the centre's projects, including Ayushman Bharat and Krishak Samman Nidhi. The Election Commission of India has issued advisory to Assam, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal and Puducherry for transfer and posting of officers connected with conduct of assembly elections to be held next year. The ECI has advised that government officers directly connected with the conduct of elections must not be posted in their home district. It said officers against whom the Commission had recommended disciplinary action in the past and which is pending or which has resulted in a penalty, or the officers who have been charged for any lapse in any election or election-related work in the past should not be assigned any election-related duty. Further, any officer who is due to retire within the coming 6 months should not be associated with any election-related duty. It also said the officers posted on recommendation of the Commission during 2019 Lok Sabha elections may be exempted from the transfer policy.
The 8th and final phase of DDC polls concluded smoothly across the J&K Union Territory today, with a voter turnout of 50.98%. Addressing a press conference in Srinagar this evening, State Election Commissioner K.K. Sharma said that in Jammu, voting percentage was 72.71% and in Kashmir Valley it was 29.91%. He said a total of 3,21,694 electors exercised their franchise out of a total electorate of 6,40,443. Poonch district topped the list with an impressive voter turnout of 83.58%, followed by Riasi district with 81.92% and Rajouri with 77.31%. The SEC said that in Kashmir Valley, Kupwara district recorded the highest polling at 63.80%, followed by Bandipora with 56.56% and Baramulla district recorded 44.60%.
बांडीपुरा में हुई 56.5%, बारामूला उसके बाद है 44.6%, उसके बाद है बड़गांव 35.1%, शोपियां 8.58%, पुलवामा में 8.50%। जम्मू प्रोविंस में सबसे ज्यादा पोलिंग पुंछ में हुई 83.58, रियासी में 81.9, राजौरी में 77, कठुआ 73, सांबा 73 point something।
With today's polling, the fate of 168 candidates has been sealed in the ballot boxes. The first ever District Development Council polls were held in J&K in 8 phases. The counting of votes will be taken up on December 22nd and the results are expected later that day. In Assam, the BJP has retained power in the Tiva Autonomous Council. The counting of vote for the 36-member council was held today. The BJP won 33 seats while Assam Gana Parishad got 2 seats. Congress won 1 seat. The Tiwa Autonomous Council covered parts of Kamrup Metro, Morigaon, Nagaon and Hojai districts. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for more investment in research and development. Former West Bengal Minister Suvendu Adhikari and 9 MLAs joined BJP. In Jammu and Kashmir, around 51% voter turnout recorded in 8th and final phase of District Development Council elections. COVID-19 national recovery rate improves to 95.46%. And in cricket, Australia defeat India by 8 wickets in the first day and night test at Adelaide. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
The country's COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 95.46% as more than 29,000 COVID patients have recovered during the last 24 hours. The Health Ministry said the total number of recoveries has gone up to over 95,50,000. India's COVID recoveries have witnessed a steep exponential rise from 50,000 in May to over 95 lakh in December. Currently, India's case fatality rate is at 1.45%, which is one of the lowest globally. India's cumulative tests for detection of COVID-19 have crossed the 16 crore mark today. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan today chaired the 22nd meeting of the high-level group of ministers, GOM, on COVID-19 via video conference in New Delhi today. During the meeting, Dr. Vardhan informed that India's COVID-19 pandemic growth has dropped to 2% and case fatality rate is amongst the lowest in the world, which is at 1.45%. He said India's recovery rate has peaked to 95.46%, while the strategy of testing 1 million samples has decreased the cumulative positivity rate to 6.25%. The minister observed the fact that despite festivals in the month of October and November, no new surge of cases was observed in this period due to comprehensive testing, tracking and treatment policy implemented on the ground. The health minister reiterated his concern and appeal to diligently maintain COVID-appropriate behavior even at a time when the country is at the cusp of authorizing the first set of vaccines. He also expressed the need for an expeditious vaccination drive to cover all the target populations, estimated to be around 30 crores. Talking to All India Radio, Dr. Piyush Ranjan of AIMS in New Delhi has urged people to take all precautionary measures to avoid coronavirus infections even after availability of a vaccine.
ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ 9 मंथ कोविड में हमारी जानकारी बदलती रही, लोगों के नैरेटिव्स बदलते रहे. पहले हमें जानकारी नहीं था, हम प्रोटेक्शन के लिए बहुत ज्यादा रिसर्च कर रहे थे, बातें कर रहे थे. फिर बाद में ट्रीटमेंट मॉडलिटी के बारे में बात हुई. वैक्सीन के बारे में जो चिकित्सा जगत की एक बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि होगी कि अगर ये वैक्सीन जो है 100% प्रोटेक्शन और ये सारी चीजें हो जाएं. लेकिन वैक्सीन के लेने से पहले, वैक्सीन के लेने के दौरान और वैक्सीन के लेने के बाद भी जो सबसे बड़ा वैक्सीन है वो आपका संयम और सतर्कता है. आपको प्रोटेक्टिव मेजर्स बराबर बनाए रखना है और इसमें किसी भी तरह की कोई कोताही नहीं बरतनी है.
The Uttar Pradesh government has made elaborate arrangements for the COVID vaccination and safe storage and cold chain arrangements for the coronavirus vaccine. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath today reviewed the preparations for vaccination and gave necessary directions to the concerned officials. AIR Lucknow correspondent reports that the training for vaccinators at district level also started today in the state.
State government has made arrangements for the storage of 2.5 lakh litre vaccine along with refrigerators and freezers according to the standards which are being provided by Union government. In Uttar Pradesh, 6 crore syringes will be needed for the vaccination and 4.5 crore syringes have been provided by the government till date. One vaccination team will perform vaccination on 100 people per day. One police constable and a home guard will accompany every vaccination team. The people who will get vaccine will be given proper information of the date, time and location of the vaccination on their mobiles. Concerned persons have to stay at the vaccination center for at least 30 minutes after vaccination. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
In Maharashtra, preparations are on in Nashik district for administering corona vaccine. State Food and Civil Supplies Minister and Nashik Guardian Minister Chhagan Bhujbal held a meeting in this regard today. District Collector Suraj Mandhare informed that 25,000 health and Anganwadi workers will be vaccinated in the first phase. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
Addressing a press conference today after taking stock of preparations in Nashik for COVID-19 vaccination, Guardian Minister Chhagan Bhujbal said 650 vaccination booths will be set up in the district for corona preventive vaccination and at least 100 citizens will be vaccinated at one booth in one day. He said planning has been done by the administration accordingly. Bhujbal said the number of corona patients who have been undergoing treatment for the last few days in the Nashik district has been steadily declining. He also said that the second wave of corona is unlikely in Nashik as the death rate in the district is 1.6% as compared to 2.6% in the state. Sweetie Jain, AR News, Mumbai.
The year 2020 witnessed a landmark development in education sector in the form of new education policy. The policy is a comprehensive framework for elementary to higher education. It also covers vocational training in rural and urban areas. Our correspondent reports the policy promises to reform and transform our education system by next year.
Mohammad Qasim, a junior high school teacher in Maharashtra village of Sambal district of Uttar Pradesh, is quite upbeat these days. No, that has nothing to do with the palpable sighting of the COVID vaccine. Rather, the spring in his step has to do with the new education policy announced by the centre recently.
It is an India-specific policy. It has not been copied and pasted from some other country. It focuses on the mother tongue. Not only children will be able to study their mother tongue, it will also generate a lot of employment for the language teacher.
Almora-based lecturer and literator Dr. Deepa Gupta says the new policy will take the students from memorizing to learning.
It will be a blessing for students who are creative. The present education system is making children who just memorize by heart and so fall behind. Learning your mother tongue till the 5th class helps them to keep their culture roots. The proposal for flexibility at graduation level of education will benefit those who leave study in between. First year, the student gets a certificate, second year diploma and a degree on completing, which is very practical.
Union Education Minister Dr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank told AIR News that the policy has the potential of creating Atmanirbhar Bharat and taking India to the new heights at the international level.
नई शिक्षा नीति 2020 आ रही है। ये जहाँ अंतिम छोर के बच्चों को पूरी विकास की संभावनाओं को देगी, वहीं विविध क्षेत्रों में आगे बढ़कर के अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर भारत का न केवल स्वाभिमान सम्मान बढ़ाएगी, बल्कि जो हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री ने $5 ट्रिलियन की अर्थव्यवस्था की बात की है, कि आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बात की है, इन दोनों को करने में ये जो नई शिक्षा नीति है, वो निश्चित रूप में एक आधारशिला बनेगी।
One has been listening from time immemorial that we follow Lord Macaulay's mission for using education to create prototype clerks. But only now, a tectonic change has occurred and the entire education system is revolutionized from grassroots level vision of real education. This is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision. Naseem Naqvi, AIR News, New Delhi.
RSS ideologue and senior journalist Madhav Govind Vaidya passed away today at a private hospital in Nagpur. He was 97. His last rites will be performed at Ambajhari Crematorium in Nagpur tomorrow morning. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed grief at the passing away of noted writer and journalist M.G. Vaidya. The Prime Minister in a tweet said M.G. Vaidya contributed extensively to the RSS for decades and also worked to strengthen the BJP. Mr. Modi expressed condolences to his family and admirers. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari has also condoled the demise of M.G. Vaidya. President Ramnath Kovind today hailed Goa for remarkable and significant progress in many fields in the last 6 decades. He was speaking at Kampal, Panaji after inaugurating Goa's 60th Liberation Day celebration event. President Kovind recalled the immense contribution of freedom fighters in liberating Goa from 450 years of Portuguese rule. The President also praised Goa for highest per capita income and remarkable progress in education, pharma and industry sector.
आज गोवा जब अपनी आजादी के 60वें वर्ष में प्रवेश कर रहा है तो यह देखकर गर्व होता है कि प्रति व्यक्ति आय के मामले में ये राज्य देश में पहले स्थान पर है। इसका श्रेय गोवा के मेहनती लोगों, जनप्रतिनिधियों, जन सेवकों तथा उद्योग क्षेत्र को जाता है। आसान कनेक्टिविटी और प्राकृतिक सौंदर्य से भरपूर धरती के बल पर गोवा आज घरेलू और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पर्यटकों के लिए आकर्षण का केंद्र है। भारत का अंतर्राष्ट्रीय फिल्म महोत्सव 2004 से लगातार यहां आयोजित हो रहा है। मोपा में प्रस्तावित हवाई अड्डे के बन जाने से इस पर्यटन में और भी बढ़ोतरी होगी।
Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar today announced the selection of 23 feature and 20 non-feature films in the Indian panorama for the 51st International Film Festival of India, IFFI, to be held in Goa in January next year. In the feature film section, 23 films are selected that include Kripal Kalita directed Assamese movie Bridge, Hindi films Sand Ki Aankh and Chichore, Govind Nehlani's English movie Up, Up and Up, Neela Madhap Panda's Odia movie Cholera Otita, Marathi movie Pravas, Sanskrit movie Namo and Malayalam movie Safe, directed by Pradeep Kailipurayat. In non-feature films, 20 films were selected that include Ankit Kothari's Gujarati movie Panchika, Bimal Poddar's Bengali movie Radha, English movie Ahimsa Gandhi, The Power of Powerless, directed by Ramesh Sharma, and Manipuri movie Highways of Life, directed by Mahbub Amarjeet Singh. India International Science Festival IISF 2020 is going to be organized from 22nd December on virtual platforms. This will be the largest science festival to be held on a virtual platform. The central theme of this year's festival is Science for Self-Reliant India and Global Welfare. The festival begins on 22nd December, the birthday of Srinivas Ramanujam, the world-renowned Indian mathematician, and culminates on 25th of December, the birthday of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who was a firm believer of development through science and technology. In an exclusive interview with AIR News, Dr. Shekhar C. Mande, Secretary DSIR and Director General's Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, has said the objective of IISF is to induce the person about different facets of science and technology.
IISF is specifically meant to celebrate achievements and advancements of science and technology of our country as well as global advancements in science and technology. We are making our young generation aware about the new things which are coming up on the horizon of science and technology so that they may pursue science further in their life.
In cricket, Australia beat India by 8 wickets in the first day and night test match of the 4-match series at Adelaide. Chasing 90 runs for a win, Australia scored 93 runs for 2 wickets. Earlier, India were bowled out for 36 in their second innings after the last batsman, Mohammad Shami, retired hurt. Josh Hazlewood took 5 wickets and Pat Cummins bagged 4 for the hosts. With this disastrous performance, India has set a poor record of posting its lowest ever test total so far and the lowest test score by any team in 65 years. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. Cold wave will continue to prevail in the national capital. The minimum temperature will be 3 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 22 degrees. Mumbai will have a mainly clear sky. Temperature will vary between 19 and 33 degrees. Chennai will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Temperature will hover between 23 and 31 degrees. In Kolkata, sky will be mainly clear. City will observe minimum temperature of 11 degrees, maximum of 22. Srinagar is likely to witness a mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Temperature will hover between -7 degrees Celsius and 10 degrees. In Jammu, temperature will hover between 3 and 15 degrees. The city will have a mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Leh is expected to have a mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature will be -16 degrees, while maximum will be -1 degree. Gilgit will have a mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between -7 degrees to 10 degrees. Muzaffarabad is expected to have a mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Temperature will move between 2 to 13 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for more investment in research and development. Former West Bengal Minister Shubhendu Adhikari and 9 MLAs join BJP. In Jammu and Kashmir, around 51% voter turnout recorded in 8th and final phase of District Development Council elections. COVID-19 national recovery rate improves to 95.46%. And in cricket, Australia defeat India by 8 wickets in the first day and night test at Adelaide. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.